Welcome to Budget Beauty, where I help you look flawless for less. Welcome back, and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen, and this is Budget Beauty. We do everything beauty on a budget, and that of course includes new makeup releases. Now, this is a release that when it came out, I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy it. And here we are. I actually bought the entire collection, the palette, the lip products, and one of the bronzers. And that is the brand new Colourpop Clayitcool collection. This is very much a neutral collection. We have tones of pinks and reds and terracottas, which I truly love. With blue eyes, oranges and terracottas really bring out the blue in my eyes. So I decided to go ahead and purchase the entire collection. So if you're excited to see a tutorial, lip swatches of all 4 of the new lip products, we're going to test out the Super Shock bronzer. Give this video a big, huge thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. I will link the Clayitcool collection from Colorpop in the description box, along with all of the other makeup that I'm wearing today. If you want to recreate the look that I share with you today, everything will be down in the description box. You'll also find links for my favorite beauty boxes. And of course, don't forget, come on over, follow me on TikTok for more beauty on a budget. I'm actually really excited to jump into the Colourpop Clayitcool collection. Like I mentioned, I wasn't going to pick up this collection. As you guys know, I am very, very much a color lover when it comes to eyeshadow, and I do own quite a few neutral palettes. And don't get me wrong, I love a good neutral eye look. I do not discriminate when it comes to makeup, but colorful, bright, fun palettes with different textures and shimmers really, really catch my eye, and that's normally what I gravitate towards. You also know that I'm a big proponent of indie makeup or independently owned makeup. I just find for the price and the quality, you can't beat it. But Colourpop does eyeshadow palettes really well. Now, of course, they are a little bit hit and miss, so I wasn't sure what to expect for the quality of this palette, but the color story did grab my attention, so I decided to go ahead and pick up some of all of the collection. First, starting with one of the Super Shock bronzers. I have always wanted to try their Super Shock bronzers, so I went ahead and picked up the shade I'll Bet. Now, this is a really good shade for me. It is deep enough that I could use this for bronzer or for contour, and I love the Super Shock formula when it comes to eyeshadows and highlighters. I actually am wearing a Super Shock highlighter today from the Winnie the Pooh collection. So as soon as I saw that they were releasing some of the Super Shock bronzers, I had to pick up the shade that I thought would best match my skin tone. They also released the blotted lips. Now, I have never tried this formula from Colorpop, so I was pretty excited about this. Initially, I was going to just buy one of the shades, but when I went on to the Colorpop website, it looked like the blotted lips were only sold in the 4-pack. So all 4 of the shades that they released. 4 shades are Bust, Paint Me, Artist, and Cured. So I did go ahead and swatch all of those out for you so you could see what they look like, but I also want to do lip swatches so you can really get a feel for the different shades on the lip. Now, initially when swatching these and looking at the component, the colors really didn't look that different. So I'm going to be disappointed if when I apply these to my lips, if all of these 4 shades look similar, since I wasn't able to just buy one, which was my initial plan. I will say that the formula feels really, really creamy, and I'm really excited to test these out. And all 4 of these shades are going to be stunning with the eyeshadow palette. And speaking of the eyeshadow palette, the Clayitcool palette. I will go ahead and insert a close-up of the unicarton, the palette. There is no mirror in the palette, but I do want to show you the shades up close. We have 4 shimmer shades, 5 matte shades, and then 1 cream shade, which is this shade down in the lower left-hand corner. When I went to swatch that, I was like, wait a minute, what is this? This feels very different. And it is more of a creamy shade. So that shade could actually be used as a cream blush. It could be used on the lips, and it can be used as a cream shadow. I'm not sure how well this dries down. All I've done so far is go ahead and swatch it, but I thought that that was a unique addition to the palette, making it a little bit different than a lot of other palettes out there. I like that there's a mix of 4 shimmers, 5 mattes, and that really fun cream shade. These colors are absolutely beautiful, and they swatched like a dream. Those shimmer shades, wow. I swatched those and literally said wow out loud. The mattes feel nice and buttery. I'm really excited to play with this to see how pigmented it is, how it layers on the eyes, and I'm debating whether or not I want to try out this cream shadow. So we'll just kind of see what happens with the eye look. But let me go ahead and zoom you in so we can get started on the Clay It Cool collection. So the first thing that I want to do is try the I'll Bet Super Shock Cream Bronzer. It's such a pretty color and such a nice formula. The Super Shock formula, like I said, highlighters, eyeshadows, everything is so nice, so easily blendable. Great if you're over the age of 40 because cream products don't settle into fine lines and wrinkles as much as powder products, and they don't make you look cakey. I'm a big fan of cream products. Again, I am wearing the Super Shock highlighter from the Winnie the Pooh collection. All of the makeup on my face will be down below for you if you're interested in picking up any of it up, but let's test out this bronzer. So I have a beauty blender and I'm going to just pick it up on the beauty blender, and I'm going to focus that right here where I would normally put my contour, and then of course bring that bronzer up my temple. With bronzer, we always want to put it where the sun hits. We want to bronze up where the sun would naturally give us a tan or bronze us up naturally. So I always apply some on my forehead and a little under my chin. If you do have a double chin, bronzing right under here can really camouflage that. This is really pretty. This is really pretty. It definitely gave me that sun-kissed look. It is not tacky to the touch at all, which is really nice. So you could actually apply this under your powdered products, or you can apply it over a set face. So I have already powdered my face, and I feel like this went on really nice and just added that nice, pretty sun-kissed glow. Definitely another winner in the Super Shock collection. I have my eyes primed and ready for shadow. I have been thinking this whole time what shades I want to use in this palette. Everything is so absolutely beautiful. The first shade that I'm going to go into is this really pretty pinky peach shade called Body Talk. I'm going to pick that up on a fluffy brush and I'm going to use that as my transition. So I'm going to apply that right into my crease. That is beautiful. Wow, that is really pretty. It's definitely a mix of pinky and peach. I really like that. And by the way, that was one tap into the palette. Lots of pigment. Looks like it's blending out beautifully. There is a tiny bit of kick up in the pan, not a lot, but there is a tiny bit of kick up, which generally just means that the shade is pigmented, and it's definitely pigmented. I'm not seeing any fallout on my face. I'm just seeing that little bit of kick up in the pan. That's really beautiful. It's such a unique pinky peach shade. Now I want to go into the deepest shade in the palette called Aphrodite, and I am using a denser brush, and I'm going to apply that on my outer corner of my eye to deepen up the look, add a little bit of depth. This is a beautiful shade. It is a berry shade. It's definitely leaning a little bit more red berry, but I really like it with the pinky peach shade. That layered really nicely, and it is not patchy at all. Again, there is a little bit of kick up in the pan for this shade as well, but again, no fallout. That shade is also absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go back into the shade Body Talk on that same brush, and I'm just going to blend that out. So beautiful. I mean, really, really beautiful. I love how deep that shade Aphrodite is and how it just blended so beautifully and layered so beautifully on that lighter shade. I'm a little nervous about this, but we're going to try out the cream shade. I'm going to lay that down on my lid and apply my shimmer on top of that. I'm curious if there's any pigmentation in this, if it's something you could use as a cream blush or a lip product, or how it layers with powders on top, specifically the shimmers. And this is called Need You. So I'm going to pick that up on a flat shader brush. Here we go. I'm going to apply that to the lid. Okay, there's definitely a little bit of pigmentation. You can see that I have, that my lid is a lighter pink. It's really a beautiful color. It's actually a really pretty color. I'm wondering if it dries down. Like, can you just apply that shade to the lid? If you wanted to do more of an all matte look, could you just go with the shade Need You right on the lid? Or is it going to remain tacky? So it's been about 2 minutes, and if I touch the shade, it is no longer tacky. So you absolutely could just use that as a eyeshadow shade. And again, go with this really pretty all matte look, which is very sultry and smoky and pretty. But of course, I need to try out some of these shimmer shades. When I swatched this copper shimmer shade right here called Biscuit, that is the first shade I swatched, and that is when I literally said, wow, it is so beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and pick it up on my finger. Look at how pretty that is. And I'm going to apply that to my lid, staying about 3/4 of the way over towards my outer corner so that I can apply one of the other lighter shimmer shades in the inner corner. This shade is so pretty. It's definitely not your normal copper shade. It has a little bit of a terracotta undertone, but it is so pretty. I mean, absolutely stunning. It's laying down really nicely right over that Need shade, that cream shade. I did not apply any glitter primer, and I'm getting a lot of payoff with the shimmers, and they're laying down really nicely. Now I want to go into this beautiful shimmer shade called Earth Bay, and I'm going to apply that on the inner corner of my lid, and then blend that in with that beautiful terracotta shade. This is really pretty too. Oh yeah, this is really pretty. This shimmer shade goes really nicely with Body Talk, that shade that we used right here in the transition. This looks really pretty with that. And it's also laying down really pretty and blending really nicely with that more copper shade. Isn't that beautiful? For my inner corner highlight, of course, I'm going into the lightest shimmer in the palette called Motif, and I'm going to focus that on my inner corner. Ooh, I love that. That is so pretty. It is the perfect inner corner highlight shade. I'm also going to take that Motif shade and put that right under my brow bone. Oh, it's so pretty. One of my favorite shimmer shades in the palette, honestly, and I wasn't sure that it would be with the swatches. I was instantly drawn to the more colorful shimmers, but this is so pretty. It's more of a icy highlight with a pink undertone. Very unique, very beautiful shade. For my lower lash line, I'm going to go into one of the shades in the palette we haven't used, which is the shade Figurine. And I'm going to pull that under my lower lash line. Ooh, I love that shade too. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. It is pinky. Oh, that is such a pretty shade. And then I'm going into Killin' It, which is the other matte in the palette we haven't used. And that means we've used almost every shade in the palette. And I'm going to buff that out. That shade gave a much more smokier lower lash line, a little bit more on the terracotta colored side, goes really nicely with the shade in the outer corner. I picked up a little bit more of that inner corner shade Motif, and I'm just going to bring that a little bit under my lower lash line. You know I love a good shimmer lower lash line. I can't get over this Motif shade. It is so pretty. So here is the finished eye look. It is so pretty. I'm loving how this looks. Let me go ahead and apply my liner, mascara, lashes. I'll be back and we will try out all 4 of the blotted lips. So we have liner, mascara, lashes, and let me just tell you, I am in love with this eye look. It is neutral, but it is neutral with a twist. I love that there's a little bit more plummy, pinky terracotta shades, a little more of that natural neutral look, but with a little bit of fun, which is exactly how I prefer my neutral palette. I really enjoyed using the palette, and I think the look turned out beautiful. We still need to test out all of the blotted lips. So like I said, I am going to do lip swatches. I'm going to apply each one to my lips. We'll again see if the colors vary a lot. They don't look like they vary much in the packaging and the swatches. So here's to fingers crossed that we get a wide variety of colors. So the first shade that I'm going to apply is the shade Rust. It feels really nice on the lips. It gives me a mix between a bullet lipstick and a lip balm. It gives a very light wash of color. I mean, it's opaque, but it's definitely light. It isn't going to give you the opacity and the intenseness of a bullet lip. It's more of a tinted balm, but it feels really nice on the lip. So this is the shade Rust. Next up, we have the shade Paint Me. Ooh, I like this one. So Paint Me is definitely a little bit more plum-based, red-based, actually goes really nicely with that deepest shade in the palette. Ooh, I really like this color. And this formula, it's really nice. It gives you lipstick with the feel of a lip balm. I really like the formula. So that is the shade Paint Me. Next, we have the shade The Artist. Ooh, I really like this too. Ooh. That's pretty. That is the deepest shade out of the four blotted lips. It is very berry toned, very, again, it goes really nicely with the eye look. So if you want a little bit more bolder, dramatic lip, this shade would be perfect. And again, this is the shade The Artist. And last, but certainly not least, Cured. Ooh. Also very pretty. Now this gives me the Artist vibes, the shade that we just did, just a little bit lighter. I really like this shade as well. I like that these blotted lips range from more berry tone to the first shade, which was a little bit more of that rusty terracotta shade. And again, this is the shade Cured. So here are the components of the four blotted lips. So they definitely look a little bit different in the component. Let me go ahead and swatch all four of these side by side. So there are the four shades swatched side by side. There definitely is some variance in colors. I would say that this is the most unique, but the other three, they really are fairly similar. I mean, this one is definitely a little bit more pinky toned, but these two, aside from this one being about one shade deeper, are very similar, although all four are beautiful. Also, on a side note, it has definitely dried down. So not as dry as a liquid lip, but the creaminess that you would get in a lip balm has basically disappeared, and it is just more of a lip stain. It still feels very comfortable on the lips. You could definitely wear the blotted lips by themselves, or you could pop on a lip gloss over the top, or a lip oil if you wanted to add a little bit of shine and hydration. I'm going to use my e.l.f. lip lacquer in Fantasy, and I'm just gonna put that on top. This lip lacquer doesn't have a lot of color. It's more of a sheer, shiny, glossy finish. And see, that looks really pretty over the blotted lips as well. So you could wear these on their own. They're very comfortable. They do dry down, or add your favorite lip gloss or lip oil. Here is my final look using the brand new Colourpop Clay It Cool collection. I love how my look turned out. You know that I am a color connoisseur, but I really love this neutral eye look. I love this palette way more than I thought that I was going to love the Clay It Cool palette. Colourpop did such a great job with different textures in the palette. Again, I love that there's 4 shimmers, 5 mattes, and this cream shade pleasantly surprised me. You can definitely use this on its own or as a base for your shimmers. I have a lot of neutral palettes, like I said, but this one is definitely unique to my collection. I highly recommend this. If you love neutral, if you like those terracotta berry tones, you are going to love this. And the quality of this is really, really nice. Colourpop really hit it out of the park with the Clay It Cool palette. I also really, really enjoyed the Super Shock bronzer. I think it added that nice sun-kissed glow to the skin. And this is the perfect pairing with the palette and the blotted lips. It's just the perfect way to summarize your skin. And it is so pretty and flawless. And again, doesn't settle into fine lines and wrinkles. I always will recommend the Super Shock formula. And lastly, we have the blotted lips. Now, I will say when I first swatched these in the beginning of the video, I was like, I don't know, these all look very, very similar in the swatches. But once I applied them to the lips and then swatched them side by side, there's definitely some variance. I really like the way these feel on the lips. I love that they're a mix between a lipstick and a balm, and then they dry down to more of a lip stain that's comfortable. Not drying Sahara Desert like a liquid lip, but a comfortable feel that you could wear them all by themselves. I also like them with a little bit of lip gloss, and I think these 4 shades pair perfectly with the palette. I mean, absolutely perfect complementary shades for the palette. And I'm actually glad that I had to buy all 4 of them together because I know that I'll get a lot of use out of these. So let me know what you think of my look. Let me know what you think of the Clay It Cool collection. This is one collection that I was going to skip on that I'm glad that I didn't, because I really truly love the eyeshadow palette, the bronzer, the blotted lips. It's my first time trying that formula out and I really, really like it. Definitely a huge win. I will go ahead and link the entire Clay It Cool collection down below for you with a discount code. If you love neutral, again, if you love these types of tones, I cannot recommend this enough. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. And of course, everything is linked down below for you, along with my favorite beauty subscriptions, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing today. And of course, come on over, follow me on TikTok for more beauty on a budget. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge win for Colourpop.